garden looks the same. So, how are you doing? Like, really, how are you doing? How am I doing? Honestly, we're getting into winter, and I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried. Winter can be a bad time for people. Like, any time can be a bad time, but I feel like winter definitely can make times worse. And I'm trying to be really proactive. Every winter I try to be really proactive, and I like hype myself up, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and it's gonna be good, and you know, Christmas and snow and winter, yay. I think I told you this last time I came over. I signed up for a online Irish course, Irish language course, and it's really awesome, and I'm really excited about it. Something that's like for me that I wanted to do, and I figured that would help give me something to look forward to, and just be like, you know, a time just to I like learning stuff like that. And last week, like, it had been going good, and then last week all of a sudden it came time to like sign on to the course to go to class, and I just didn't want to, and it worried me. I do have introspection, because I was like, it was just that feeling, you know, where it's just like you just have no interest. I was like, it doesn't bring me happiness. I don't care. I don't want to go. And I was like, oh no. This is a tool that I have put in place to get through the winter, and we are in the middle of October, and already it's not even working. And I was like, we have a long way to go here until spring. Yeah, so I was just worried about it. So I've had some time to think, like a week, and I've kind of come up with a game plan, a new game plan. The first part is that we're going to go back to basics, because you cannot trust your thoughts all the time. You can't. They will lie to you. They're not always right, and you need to have a plan. So going back to basics, I used to have this like checklist. It's like these rules, like a checklist to check, and then if any of the check marks were checked, I could just discount any thoughts just offhand, tell you what they are. And then if we're good to go and there's still a problem, then I know there's really a problem and know what to do then. And then also just some like more proactive things that I'm gonna do, just proactively. Proactive things I'm gonna do proactively. The basics. Your thoughts and feelings are not always right, so when can they be wrong? And these are the things that I would check. Did you forget to eat? If you forgot to eat, your blood sugar's low. Stop thinking. Don't worry about what your thoughts are. Go eat. Have you been sleeping? And I mean like getting good actual sleep, not like broken, crappy sleep. If you are sleep deprived, like, just throw the thoughts out until you've had actual sleep. You can come back to them, just throw them out right now. Go get some sleep. When's the last time you had time alone? I'm a big introvert. I need time alone, and I get very kind of keyed up, and things just kind of start swirling a lot if I don't get time alone. So like, go have some alone time, a generous chunk of alone time, and then see how you feel. On the flip side of that, when's the last time you hung out with a friend? Because maybe you're isolating and you haven't seen another person who is an adult and can carry on a conversation and relate with you, and maybe you need that. Are you sick or in physical pain? I say those are some of the times where your mind, those are some of the times where my mind gets really bad, and I usually kind of feel like a permanence. Like, if I feel sick, that I will always feel this way, and it will never get better, and I will think like that. Just table those thoughts and until you're feeling better. What's the weather like? The weather's actually pretty good right now. The weather's good, but if it's like a gloomy, cloudy day, like, maybe table the thoughts until it's a little bit better of a day, you know, and just see. And it used to be the flip for me when I was younger, man. I loved gloomy days. That was the best. Like a cloudy, drizzly day, like, give me all that. And now I'm like, no, no, thank you. It's interesting. And then a big one that I have completely forgotten until I sat down and rethought of these is it past 4 p.m.? When I was younger, my mom always used to say, things always look worse at night. And that's true in adulthood as well, not just for kids. And if it's past 4 p.m., just don't listen. Don't listen to those thoughts. Like, put it off till tomorrow. Think about it in the morning. And conversely, I know some people are like this. If your mornings are really bad, then know that and be like, it's in the morning. I'm going to table these thoughts until later in the day when I feel better and see if they're still true. So that's my checklist. Well, is there ever a time where my thoughts are valid? This is kind of a lot. What I have to have all the stars aligned to have like a valid thought or problem, and that's not what I'm trying to say. Yeah, sometimes even when you've checked off all the mostly physical boxes and you know, basics that you need to get out of the way, there's still a problem. And unfortunately, a lot of times I find that they are really big problems that are not easily solvable. I will give you an example. I worked at a company, and at a certain point in time, it became a bad working situation, really for everybody, but especially, like, you know, for myself, it was not a good working situation. I remember driving home, and I know the exact place where all of a sudden I just looked and I was like, I could just drive into this tree right here. I could just drive into this tree and just make the problem go away. And I do have introspection. I am capable of looking at myself. I knew that wasn't a good thought. And I did what everybody, I assume, does in this day and age. And I, you know, asked the internet what I should do. The onlines. And I remember like Googling, you know, kind of what I was feeling, and the answers that I got were basically like, take a bubble bath. What a patronizing thing to say to someone who's like, that should not even exist on the internet. Take a bubble bath. I was like, we're not at bubble bath. We're at tree. We're not dealing with a bubble bath problem. We're dealing with a tree problem. Bubble bath is not going to help. Tree level problems, unfortunately, require tree level solutions and tree level actions. And that is the problem, because those are big actions and big solutions, and they just seem really scary and hard and honestly impossible a lot of the times. So you might look at it and it's like, I can't quit my job. I can't quit my job. I can't see how that works. I don't even have the energy or the bandwidth to look at how that could work. I can't even think about it. It's so big. This is quit my job, and this is tree. This is where talking to somebody else can come into play, because where you see like quit my job, tree, they see like quit your job, tree. And I would much rather see it that way. That would be that's a more rational way of seeing it, I believe. And they can help you break down the quit your job into smaller pieces. But it can be hard to talk to someone. And as you know, this is the most benign quit your job. This is the most benign example I can give. There are so many problems that obviously are like way more than that. And I'm not gonna like list all of them. Like, you know if you have a tree problem, and that's your tree problem. And part of the problem is like talking to someone sounds great, but maybe you can't talk to someone like that you know, at least, because it's kind of taboo, honestly. It just is. Or two, maybe you're worried that they'll just blow you off and tell you that that's not really a problem. Because in their eyes, perhaps it doesn't look like a problem. But that's because they're not in it. That's why your problem, you're in it. That's why it looks so big. And then 3, maybe because you don't want to like share all your stuff, maybe minimize it, right? And for this example, be like, oh, I hate my job. It really sucks. And they're like, oh yeah, me too. Ugh. You just bubble bathed your problem. You got a tree problem and you just explained it as a bubble bath. And then even if you explain it as like a massage problem, you're like, no, really, it's just pretty hard. I'm having trouble. And maybe you get a massage answer like, oh yeah, well, maybe if you try to look at the positives or bring a bag of candy to work and eat that, like that's still not, you're not opening up and telling person you have a tree problem. And this is where sometimes it can be helpful to talk to someone you don't know who maybe like has some experience in dealing with people who are going through this stuff or has already gone through the problem that you're going through. And they came out the other side, and they can tell you that it's doable and that you can come out the other side and just make it better. So this has taken quite the turn from it is cold and I'm so sad, oh it's winter, but I mean it's important. So we have our list, our checklist. Then you have your, if it is a problem, you need to get some perspective from outside of the problem. And then proactive measures that I am taking, and I've talked about proactive measures, and we've discussed that about like winter and getting outside, and this is more surface level stuff now, like getting outside and having some things to do. And I did sign up for this Irish language course, which I am excited about it again. I took a class this week. It was good. I like it. So I'm gonna learn the new skill. I like learning, but I don't want it to become like a thing I have to do, like another thing on the plate of stuff that needs to be done, because that can be bad. So I want to just keep it lighthearted and fun. It's for me. It's because I want to. And then same with the garden, like planning out a garden. I found that this year I feel like I do want to take my gardening seriously, but I took it so seriously that it just felt like a lot of failure a lot of times, and that's not a good way to be. And then I want to create. I used to create a lot of stuff. I want to get back into music and create something. I feel like that really helps. Like, it can be cathartic. You can get your feelings out in a different way when you create, and then also it's just good for you. We were made to create things and be creative, and so that's really something that I want to do. And with this YouTube channel that I have, I'm gonna try to be creative on it. Use it as a creative outlet. And the last thing I wanted to bring up, just because I thought about it, is it's a little silly, but it's not. When I went to college, I was having a hard time at the beginning. It turned out fine. It ended up being great. But when I first went there, my mom came and visited me. I didn't know it at the time, but she was actually coming to ascertain whether I should be staying there or not, and just to get a picture of what was going on. And I remember she did 2 things for me. I'm sure she did a lot more, but 2 things really stand out. Number 1, she bought me, I was in this dorm that was just like a cinder block cell pretty much. she bought me it's like 3-cup coffee maker. It was the cutest thing. It was like this little tiny coffee maker, this little tiny coffee pot. And I think she bought some like flavored coffees or maybe some flavored syrups or something that went in it. And now looking back, I'm like, haha, 3-cup coffee cup, that's cute. But like at the time, it was like just so nice. And then she gave me these like flashcards. They're not flash, like note cards, like index cards. And they had things written on them. They said like, I am loved. I am a good person. So I just wanted to say, you are loved and you are a good person. And thank you for hanging out with me today.